screen?
Yes, we can see the screen. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm doing a pizza sales report. The project overview is just to identify the performance of this pizza sale to help the pizza to make better decisions and improve sales. As a data analyst, I'm just going to come to analyze the data and help them put a report to find more opportunities where they can drive more sales and work more efficiently. So we're just going to go to the next. The data source was gotten from the data set was gotten from, it contains 4 tables in CSV format. Yeah, the order table, the order details, the pizza tables, and the pizza types. Each one of them it contained the order tables, the quantities, the prices, the pizza tables, ingredients, and all informations that are needed that you can see in the project. Okay, so I'm not going to move forward now. The ETL process that was involved, I did the extraction, transformation, and loading. I checked through the data sets to check for any errors. And what I did was I cleaned the data, I prepared the data for analysis, removed any blanks, changed the data types of the dates, the times, the price columns, and I also checked for duplicates. The final data set was about 48,620 rows thereabouts. But yes, the data was cleaned, and then I checked the data dictionary to fully understand the data set. And when I had to upload the data into the Power BI, then I went to also upload it into Power Query. So for the Power Query, I checked the pizza types. I saw that I had an unprompted header, so I used the first row as the header to promote the header. And then I also saw the date function. I used that I extracted the date so that it can include date, month, quarter, and year for a better analysis. And then from there, I was able to exit the Power Query and move forward for my transformation. So this was the data model pretty much. It contained the orders, the order detail, the pizza, and the pizza type. I created it, and then it represents facts table, the dimension tables, the primary keys, and foreign keys. You can also see like the names, the data modeling tables better here. So my fact table was pizza. Then the other fact table was other details. There were 2 dimension tables as well, the pizza types and then the others. And my primary keys were pizza ID, pizza type ID, order ID, and other details ID. And the foreign key was the pizza type ID and the order ID and pizza ID. So it falls under different primary keys and foreign keys. And then I move forward to my DAX. I created a measure table so that I can see a measure. Then I created new measures for total orders. I did a total revenue. I did total prices, average order revenue, and order per quarter. So I did a totals order by count A's, orders, and then in bracket order ID. The total revenue was done by summing up the total price column, and that gave us total revenues. I also created a measure for the average order revenue, and that was done by total revenue divided by total order. And then the order per year quarter, it was total order divided by the discount count of orders in the name of quarters. And the order ID is a dimension table such that it contains only distinct numbers of orders that we've ordered. Okay, so moving on to my dashboards, I'm just going to move on to my dashboard actually. The insight I found from this table, it showed that the total number of orders received was 21,350, as we can see here. The classic deluxe right here, let me just click this out, sorry. Yes, the most ordered, the classic deluxe was right here. It was the best-selling pizza by orders with a total number of 2,329 orders. And then, of course, we had the Brickari pizza, which was the worst selling pizza. It's also generated the lowest number of orders, which was 480 right here. Yes, as you can see here. Then moving on, we added the highest order in the month of July based on revenue per month. Sorry, yes, it's right here. Order by month was the highest in July, and we had a number of 1,935 orders in July, while the lowest was in October. So we can see a rise in pizza sales during the summertime, and a drop in pizza sales during the fall season. I also saw a positive correlation between the orders and the revenue. So as there was a positive correlation in that as the number of orders increases, the number of revenue also increased as well, and vice versa. So when it also decreased, it went down as well. Then as we can see, orders were mostly placed on Fridays. So this shows that we hit a top order of 3,500 on Fridays. So this was the peak hours. This shows that our busiest day is Fridays. And then the total revenue that was generated was 817,860, with the Thai chicken pizza having the most revenue, and it generated it generated a total revenue of $43,000. The Brick Kaya pizza as well was also the bottom revenue. It had the least revenue. It generated a total revenue of 16,000. So we can see that the Brick Kaya pizza is the bottom revenue, and the Thai chicken pizza had the most revenue of 43,000. And then we see our highest revenue. The highest revenue in quarter right here. Yes. So we see in quarter 3, we have the highest revenue by quarter, and in each month, the most order was July. We already said that. So the highest revenue based on quarter was in quarter 2 right here. It had a $208,000 dollars in quarter 2, as we see in the revenue by quarter right here. It's basically accrued a total revenue of $208,000. Yes, that's correct. And then in July, we see that we have a revenue of 72,000 just in July alone. So this makes July our highest revenue by month. Our lowest was also in October in the revenue. So that's why we can see a correlation. So as the order decreases, because we had the highest order in July for the month, we also had the highest revenue in July. And then the October as well, we had the lowest, then we also had the lowest in revenue as well. So that's why we see a positive correlation between the orders and the revenue. So my recommendation for this pizza, for this pizza place is, since the Brick Kaya pizza is the worst selling pizza, they can do like a survey that can be carried out to know what the customer think about the pizza, what they feel about this pizza. And then by doing this, they can solve the issue behind the pizza being the worst selling pizza. And then through rebranding, changing their recipes, or adding any other thing, they can help to develop sales. There's another recommendation I would say is there should be an improvement in their delivery system so that it can increase the delivery rate during the days. Because we can see that on Friday, the Yes, we can see that they want pizzas on Fridays. So Fridays, most people tend to be, it's more about the weekends, and people probably they're already done they are finished from work, so they want to start the weekend. So people are more likely to just order in or want pizza during that time. So I would say that to increase sales during the week, they can do like a discount or like a promo. On days where sales are low, they can offer a promo during the weekdays so that revenue can be generated more. And they can also do like a seasonal promo during special seasons. For example, Christmas Day, Valentine's Day, Father's Day. This will just help to increase more sales if there's a promo, because people tend to want to buy things when they feel it's cheaper or when there's a promo. And I was also saying there should be an improvement in the delivery channels. So this will help to increase the delivery rates, and then people will more likely want to buy pizza when there's an increase in the delivery rates, when there's a faster delivery rate. They should also implement like online orders, or online ordering channels. So this will help them to be able to, they don't have to go in store to buy pizza. They can always order from their phones, and they don't have to leave their comfort zone. They can order from their homes, because people wouldn't want to go out, and then they have to the pizza delivered for them in time. So that's my recommendation, and this is everything I got from my pizza sale reports. Thank you.
Thank you. I will give you feedback to our student. Thank you.
Yes. Do you want me to stop sharing the screen or not?
Oh no, it's okay.
Okay.
Yes, you can share screen with me, ask questions on your dashboard. Eric, are you there?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Omotola. I hope I
You can just call me
pronounced your
Tola.
name correct.
You can just call me Tola for short.
Yeah. Okay. So I think it's a good presentation and a good work and good narrative. Pizza
Yes.
Store is an interesting project. It's my third time to see the same project, but everyone did it differently with different flavor. I like your clarity. Your PowerPoint presentation was very well done. And
thank you.
yeah, so is the Power BI dashboard. The process was very clear, all the way, from the beginning to the end, from ETL, including the pre-processing and EDA, and then the data modeling was also very clear, and then how you follow the best practice to create the measure table. And then the dashboard itself, I think the layout is good. You've used the most least top bottom just to draw people's attention to the exceptions. And once again, management by exception is always very, very common. Just one suggestion for the use of theme. I know that you use blue. So blue is almost everywhere, but you also use gray. So I think you can make a decision between gray and blue. I like blue. Blue. So and sometimes you see people using green for something good and red for something bad. But you could also use the gradient, same color, all the way from dark blue to light blue. You can still use the same color. I prefer the same color because it just look nicer. So between blue and gray, and you make a decision if it's all blue, and then don't use gray. And I noticed two things. You did KPI by year quarter, right? So you use different visual. For instance, you have revenue by quarter and revenue by month.
Mhm. Yes.
Remember, if you bring date as a hierarchy, and the hierarchy, date hierarchy includes year, quarter, months, all the way to date, right?
Yes.
So you can actually achieve the same objective with one visual, right? But with the drill down capability, you just drill down. You can go from quarter to month.
Okay. Got
And
it.
then you can save the valuable space for something else. So that's one suggestion I have for you.
Okay.
If you need even more space, and you can also use field parameter, and so you can toggle between different KPI by using the same chart. So for
Okay.
instance, you can use the same chart to show revenue versus quantity. You just need to add a slicer, and then you can toggle. I really like your day of week. So that's insight. So Friday turns out to be the busiest day of the week.
Yes.
And I suggest you also do hour of the day. It doesn't have to be 24 hours. You could do 3 hours from 0 to 2:59, and then 3 to 5:59, right? Every 3 hours. And then you have 8 group. So that way, you see, the peak slot, the peak time, and so this will help you or help the store owner to schedule the work. In the peak time, you probably want more employees, and if there's less customers, probably one employee is enough.
Yes. Okay. I got that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I've seen similar cases in the past, and using the same data model. And one individual was very creative. So besides the regular revenue orders, revenue per order, you could also do, the number of times the same person ordered the same item.
Okay.
And that's a very creative KPI.
Yes.
I remember the insight, that was discovered. So three drinks turned out to have like 15 times, and the same individual ordered the same drink 15 times compared to just one or two once or twice, for some major item, right?
Yes.
So the restaurant owner said, "Oh, because those drinks actually are not generating that much revenue," so he was about to take it off the menu.
Okay.
And then the analyst said, "You shouldn't do that, because these drinks turn out to be people's favorite drinks, and sometimes they came to your store just for the drinks." And because they come to the store, they might as well, order a meal, right? But if you take it off, then people will stop coming. Some people stop coming. So you could actually use, those drinks as a loss leader. You don't expect to make money on a drink. You can even lower the price for the drink, and more people will come. And once again, when they come, they probably will order something else, right?
Yes.
So that's a extremely important insight for the store owner. And then overall, I think I was impressed by how you remember the flow. But I think for the audience to follow you, it's always a good idea for you to, pre-record a number of bookmarks. And then with Spotlight, right? So you with the Spotlight on certain visual, and people naturally will focus on that visual.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know, you practice well, but sometimes you just in case you panic, and because you have the bookmarks in a
Mhm.
sequence, and you can still follow your flow, and people will be able to follow you
Mhm.
more easily.
Yes, I got it.
So that
Thank
was my feedback. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will take that into consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Amatola, and yeah, very good presentation. We have to move to next student because we are a little bit behind schedule. Thanks again.
Okay.
Mark,
Thank
are
you,
you there?
Adam.
No problem. Mark, are you
Yes, I'm
there?
here. Yes.
Okay. So whenever you're ready, you can share the screen, and we have 10 minutes for the presentations, and we will have 5 to 10 minutes for the feedback. Thank you.
Okay. Give me a minute. I'll just share my screen. So. Yeah. Just want to confirm. Do you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see our screen.
Okay, perfect. So, hi everyone. Good evening or good morning. I live here in Quebec, so it's evening here. So my project is it's Netflix user base data set. So this data set, I was able to download this in Kaggle. So for the agenda, I'm gonna begin showing how I did my ETL. So here I used some Python libraries like Pandas, NumPy, and I also performed the EDA. And I also used Notepad++ before loading the data set in Power BI. And second, I'm going to show how I did the data modeling. So here I established the data schema and measures for my dashboard. And thirdly, I'm going to present how I did my data analysis. So I used Power BI for my data analysis. And lastly, I'm going to present the results and recommendations for the data analysis. So moving forward, so a little something about the data set. So the data set offers a glimpse into a fictional sample of Netflix users. So it has key aspects like subscription type, monthly revenue, registration dates, payment history, and user locations. This dataset is valuable for analyzing user patterns, preferences, and revenue trends within hypothetical Netflix user community. And this dataset it was updated. The last update was July 2023. So these are the features of the dataset. So it has a subscription type. It has monthly revenue, join date, last payment date of the subscriber, country of the subscriber, age, the gender, the device used, and the plan duration. So in this part, EDA, I'm going to show you, I'm going to proceed to my Jupyter Notebook. So basically, the data set contains 2,500 rows. It has 10 columns. And for my initial findings, it doesn't contain any null values. So I also did the isNull.sum function. So yeah, there's no null values. So the data set contains 3 numerical features, and the rest they're using a string type variable. And I also checked for some duplicates, so I didn't find any duplicated rows. And for the box plot, so I tried doing the box plot to check the distribution of the data set. So for the monthly revenue, it's slightly found out that it's slightly it's right skewed, but I don't know how to proceed. Like I just proceeded. I didn't. I'm not sure if I need to make the distribution normal. I just proceeded as is. So for the age, I also checked the box plot. It's almost a normal distribution. So here I also checked for the counts. So most of the users are using their laptops, secondly tablet, the smartphone, the smart TV, and most of the users are female. And for the subscription type, they're using 3 types: basic, standard, and premium. So I also did a pie chart just to the distribution of the users subscription. So I also checked the count for the count. I filtered by country. So most of the users are coming from the United States and Spain, and third from Canada. Then for the plan duration, they're using just one plan type, which is 1 month. So in my dashboard, in my data set, in my new data set, I removed the plan duration because they're just using one duration for this one. And I also noticed with the EDA, the price for their subscriptions varies. But this one I wasn't able to capture, like maybe it varies country per country, or maybe they increased the subscription price. Yeah, maybe they change it somewhere. And for this one, I did just convert. I converted the join date into date time because I was trying to find the earliest join date. So I was able to capture the earliest join date, which is 2021, and the latest join date is 2023. So my data set contains data from 2021 to 2023. So, and lastly, this one I just dropped the plan duration because I don't think it's needed, because they only have one plan type, which is 1 month. So this is the modified data set without the plan duration. So from here, I created a new data set and loaded it in my Power BI. So that's for my EDA. So going back to my presentation, so these are some of the EDA results. So data set contains 2,500 rows with 10 columns and year, starting from 2021 to 2023. So I didn't find any null values. Oldest age of subscriber is 51 and youngest is 26. Box plot of age is almost close to the mean. Box plot of monthly revenues, right skewed distribution, and 40% of the subscribers are using basic type of subscription. So for the next portion, I'm going to show my data modeling and analysis. So I'm going to open my Power BI. Sec. Here. Slow for that. So for my data modeling, just gonna show you first the schema. So it was originally it was just one table, so it contains this fields, but I followed what Eric thought us while doing some exercises. So for the device, I tried to do like I normalize some of the tables, like I separate the device, the gender, subscription, and I implemented also the time intelligence table here. So I did this for so it is easy to maintain. So in case in the future, if the company or client wants to add like a new device, the client don't need to modify the main table. You can modify the device table. Same with the gender. If let's say Netflix wants to be more gender inclusive, they can add other genders in the gender table. Same with the subscription. If they want to add new type of subscription, they can just modify this table right here. So that's for the data schema. And for the dashboard, for the measures here, I wasn't able to use all of the measures. So yeah, I'm gonna show you the dashboard. The dashboard now. So here I use the map to show like which from which country most of the subscribers are coming from. So as you can see, we have a lot of subscribers coming from United States, Canada, and actually this is not France. If you zoom in, it's actually from Spain. So in Spain, there's actually a total of 451 users, but the active users here are just 267. And they have 184 inactive users. Most of the subscribers they're at this age at their 39 age bracket. And most of the users here are they're using basic type of subscription. Then if you want to check, for example, United States, yeah, same. You can see same measures like the total users, the active users, inactive users in the United States. And most of the subscribers in the United States, they're using their the active users. They're using their laptop. What else? What else? So you can also see like the gender. Like most of the users, they're male. And if you see this one here, this line graph here, these are the number of new subscribers per month. So you'll see that there's a spike of new subscribers from May till October. So probably the user starts subscribing from start of the summer, and then it declines afterwards, November to till April. So this one you can also I implemented like this is filtered to 2022 data only, because I noticed that in 2021 I don't have a lot of data, and also with 2023, so I just I filtered it for 2022 data only. And also you can drill down if you want to, let's say, check want to see it like in a quarterly basis, you can do it like this. Year, I just have 2022, so it's not necessary to see it by year. So yeah, that's it for my dashboard. So countries, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 countries in this data set. So going back to oops. So results and recommendations. So results, top countries, US, Spain, Canada. So US and Spain with 451 users, and Canada with 317 users. Spain though has more active users than US, and most standard subscribers are coming from UK and Mexico, and most of them are in their 40s. Majority of the users are using smartphones, and in 2020, no, it's supposed to be 2022, we noticed spike in new subscribers from the month of May till October, and 32% of the total users are inactive. So these are some of the results of the data analysis. So for recommendations, maybe they can come up for promotions from November till April to boost new numbers of subscribers. And since most of the users are using their smartphones, maybe Netflix should make sure their mobile app is always up and running. And another one is give discounts or promotions to inactive users, so they could, excuse me, so they could reactivate their accounts, and add more features for premium type of subscription to attract customers to avail the premium subscription, and increase numbers of users in parts of Europe and South America by adding more maybe European contents, South American contents. So future improvement for this project. So I was also trying to like make maybe it will make more sense if I make like an age segmentation wherein I like this. I segment the it by age group, like millennials, Gen Z, baby boomers, and yeah, capture topmost longest subscribers. Maybe it would help. Show correlation analysis too between subscription type and age, and show decline of active users. And for more reliable data analysis, I can make more improvements. They could improve by adding more necessary like features or variables in their data set. So that's it for my project. So thank you for your time.
Hey, Mark.
Yes.
I think it's fantastic. First of all, I'm a huge movie lover, and I think you got me. You know, I use Netflix, so I'm quite familiar with the red and black. And your presentation is is very creative. I think most people love it. And I still remember the line from Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh,
I'll
Terminator,
be
yeah.
back. And very, very funny, very good, good sense of humor. I think that definitely got people. And every step of the way, and I think sum up for every step of the way, you did really, really well. And the beginners often feel frustrated with so many options and so many choices of visuals. I think you were able to choose the right graph or chart type to convey the message. For instance, I think you use map, you use donut chart, you use
Line.
you use column, you use area chart, and a very proper use of the right visual to communicate the right message. I think you captured the demographic and also behavioral traits. If I remember correctly, so there are subscription type and location, country and device and age. I think you did age group too, and that's also in your plan to segment age into millennials and generation Y and generation Z. So that's really, really good. And gender and calendar. It's always important to capture the preference and behavior. So Netflix knows the user better than their spouses or even better than themselves. I highly recommend. I don't know if the data includes the genre. You could have the crime, family, romance. I think that's a good dimension to use as well, or maybe language. I'm not sure. There's always okay. Just some comments about the Jupyter Notebook.
Okay.
Adam can add later on. The basic stuff I think are all there, and you showed the size and shape of data and the summary statistics. Very smart use of box plot, because just one visual actually gives people 5 statistics. However, you show the box plot, and you even mention this is a perfect bell shape, and it's a normal distribution, and that one is right skewed.
Yep.
I think you will need to interpret that. Or what does it mean, right?
Yeah.
Because I think most people don't understand normal distribution of left and right skewed. I think it appeared quite often in the news. Some people say, "Oh, this is the head and this is the long tail," right? And if you have a big head and short tail, statistically, it means the distribution is not. So how should I word this? So the point is, So the point is, you want to tell people, how the distribution goes over a dimension, right?
Yep.
And what does that mean, to the business of Netflix? Usually, big head is good. Long tail is very hard to deal with, because you have to focus on so many segments for something very marginal, right?
Yeah. Actually, I don't know how to deal like if I have a, like a right skewed or left skewed
The box plot?
distribution. I just know that if it's normally distributed, it's good for data analysis. But if it's has some
Mhm,
skewness, I'm not sure what to do afterwards, how to
mhm,
deal with it.
mhm. So for instance, this one, monthly revenue, does, well, what does 15 mean? 15, 16. That's $15 a month. That's how much they pay, right?
Yep.
Okay, okay. This is a good thing because, for instance, I started with maybe, I don't remember, 8.99. Psychologically, going from single digit to 2 digit, even though it's not a lot, even the increase is very little. But some people may think, oh, that's a lot. I used to pay only line 99, and now I'm paying $10.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe people working in the pricing team should do something about it, right? Without losing revenue, but you make it appear more attractive. When you go shopping, you see that a lot, like $5.99 instead of saying 6, right? So, yeah, so try to tell people what that means. So this is one thing. And I noticed that you correct the data type, and that's usually something you will need to do when you work with data frame. And heat map is actually really, really important for you to show the trends, patterns, and relationships. You could do a bit more, in using Python, just to
Yeah, I wasn't able to use the heat map. Yeah.
yeah. So maybe you can finish that later on. And the part of Power BI was really well done. Just to give you a bit background, in any marketing campaign, usually the company runs 3 types of marketing campaign. So you may want to take notes. It's always acquiring the new customers, and second, keep the existing customer active.
Yeah.
And the third, prevent the customers from
Being
leaving.
inactive.
Right? So that's the retention. So you run 3 type of campaigns: acquisition campaign, activation campaign, or retention campaign. Just to maximize the revenue.
Yeah,
Um,
makes sense.
Yep. I really like this dashboard. Instead of using slicers, you can use map as slicer. If you click one country, and that's the same as selecting the country using slicer. And you could also use line chart as a slicer to select different ones.
So
Yeah. Remember, you could change how different visuals interact with each other, between the cross highlighting and cross filtering. You could choose cross filtering, right? And that's very smart. What else? Just give me a second. Findings and recommendation. And I hope you can walk away remembering this. This was long time ago, my mentor. He told me any analytic project can be summarized into 3 questions. The first question is what happened. The second question is why it happened, and the third question is then what? Then what can we do about it, right? So just remember this 3 steps: and what, why, and then what. So what happened, why it happened, and then what can we do about it, right? I really, really like your, conclusion, including findings and recommendations. For instance, some are conclusive, some are not. The recommendation based on, the subscribers You know, how can Netflix acquire more users or subscribers in South America and Europe? Probably, you know, you recommend adding more European or South American content. And you've also noticed, you know, there was a spike between May and October 2021. So that's what happened. And why, you know, why there was a spike, you know, during that period. So if you don't have enough data, you could point to different possibilities. And the last part, I definitely love it. You know, the last page, which most people skip. The last page is, if I have more time, if I have more data, and here is a list of things I will do, right? And this is actually, you know, this, you just need to think a little bit more to write this page, but this page will help you score more points, you know, with the employer. And people say, oh, you know, this is very, very good, and I have thought. In fact, we give you such a short window, you know, we are already impressed by how much you have achieved. And you have gone above and beyond that. You're even thinking ahead, right? If you have more time, if you have more data, these are the things you will do, right? So
Yeah.
overall, great presentation. I think. Are you Latino, by the way?
Sorry, no. I'm Filipino.
Okay. So I noticed that a certain ethnic group, they have very good sense of color. So I think you're one of them. You use the color quite consistently, and which is important.
Thanks. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, and back to Adam.
Okay. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Mark. Yes, very, very impressive presentations. That the slides are very organized. As I believe you may have some relevant working experience, such as a designer, but that's not done by the no knowledge about that. So you must have some knowledge about like web, like either like graphic designer or web developer. So it's very nice. It's very nice, enjoyable slides.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I think could be very even I will say it's better than some of advertisement you found from the website.
I actually just found like some templates, so I just refactored it and add my content and add something to it.
Still is good, like because it doesn't mean like everyone know they have template, but that's your work. I think it's and also you're able to use it and then combine all this like Python Tableau tools into this slides. Just make it it's complete, right? So you not only have the slides and also have the Python and the Power BI. Okay. So what I'm gonna recommend is there's a few things I want to mention. I think this data set is a little bit hard for you to play on the Jupyter Notebook since the data is pretty much clean. So there's no much data transformation, but you do able to do some visualizations on the Jupyter Notebook. It's very good. But I think still the limitation will be the data set itself. There's no much cleaning or fill out non-values or other features. You can do it. It's a pretty like perfect data set. And if you can apply some of this, like apply some of the real world data, it could bring more like stories to your data set. But based on this data set, normally it's hard for you to do like too much.
Yeah, because of the limitation of the data set. Yeah.
Okay. And so but still you do very good for the Jupyter Notebook. I think you tried the best you can. And also for the Power BI, the only thing I want to recommend is it really depends your like how you're gonna explain or analysis this data side. So on the dashboard, if you want to show the world map, you can use this one. That's definitely because if that's the largest dashboard you have. So which means you want to talk about more about the world map. But you may want to create another one, make the world map smaller, maybe make other graph like a dashboard bigger, because sometimes like if you want to talk about other, for example, the new subscribers by month, right? So you want to make it bigger, right? The layout is really nice, but if you depends where you want to analyze this. So you probably want to maximize the
space.
visibilities, and especially like if you want to find some like insight or want to explain some key KPI or keywords. So the map is not taking that important role. You want to make smaller or just create an individual dashboard for that. But the layout looks very decent, looks very nice. Yeah, I think it's overall it's awesome job. So, but for my question is like, cause you do able to create a very decent dashboard, you know what you are doing. So what's your goals? Like, are you working as data analytics, or you are planning
No,
to?
actually, I just graduated. I did the software development course, but I
Mhm.
still don't know which path to take. So I'm actually taking other boot camps, data science, and this ones. But and I just want to say that if I would to compare the content, like you guys are doing a great job. Like based on my experience in the other boot camps, they're just teaching us like the overview, like the overview of we call this just the
Yeah.
overview. Like unlike with this one, I learned a lot from Eric, from you, like industry standards, like
Yeah, great. I think that's very. I think like you can learn things fast. So I believe you will be very successful in this journey.
yeah.
And also actually the difference between our bootcamp and other bootcamps probably is the real world data, right? So
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward in taking some other boot camps from eCloud Data maybe in the future.
okay, great. Yeah, so what I'm gonna mention like what you learn from the bootcamp is from this course. Like you will find there are always limitations. Not about your skill, it's about how you kind of apply it in the real world. Because in the realities, all the real data are very sensitive. You don't have chance to touch it, and you will lack of this experience. You could be do very good the project, but the challenge is you always had to fit in these questions. What is your working experience? What's your last job? What do you do?
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
it will be give you like a disadvantage if you don't have this experience. So yeah, experience is extremely important, and also with the guidance from the expert also can help you to like grow faster. And I think you have lots of potential. Actually, I think you are doing the right track. You like everyone can see opportunity, but you do need to have a better plan. And so looking forward, because sometimes like the time is the most valuable for everyone. And Eric mentioned we have Eric have a students, and Eric had two students. I think Eric talked to us last time. Like one student start learning as data analytics earlier, and then now her salary is over 100K. Another students have better education background, but like join 3 years or 2 years later, and the reality is she had to accept like a basic star, like which is
Salary, yeah.
65K
Mhm.
salaries, right?
Yeah.
So it makes planning and make the right movement is very important because
Yeah.
everyone the opportunity is fair for everyone, but you had to make your choice and make planning faster because like if you make like 1 year or 2 year different, you will find there's a different lifestyle or different career paths. Yeah, in
Yeah.
the next few years. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for your inputs.
Okay. Thank you, Mark. Very enjoy your presentation.
Thank you. I enjoyed my time here in your bootcamp too. So thanks a lot.
Awesome.
I learned a lot. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. Okay. Let's move to the next student. James, are you there?
Sure.
Yes, yes, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Whenever you're ready, you can share the screen, and you have 10 minutes for the presentation, and then we will give like 5 or 10 minutes for the feedback.
Okay. Let me share my screen. So, confirm, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So, my dataset involved a project where we had an IT company. So it's a financial modeling, like a prediction. So we have the actual values, the budget, then we have the forecast. So we are forecasting about the finances. Let's say if we have a project we are to implement, the budget that we are to incur, so we have to forecast it. So my dataset had the following tables. They had the actual, the budget, cost elements, department, forecast to the region. I'm going to use the Power BI to generate a report, but basically I obtained this from the Microsoft GitHub, where there was an Excel file, and I cleaned the data using the Power Query. So let me proceed to my Power BI report. Can you see it? Confirm, can you see it from your end? Hello, can you see it?
Hello. Hi, James. Yeah.
Hello. Am I audible there? Can you see my report?
Oh, yes. Now we can see it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry for the confusion. So this is my report. They are basically forecasting. So these are my tables, the actual, the budget. However, I use the DAX language to generate some new measures, like the calendar. You can see it has a calculator logo there, the forecast, learning time. These I'll be using them in my visuals here. So in the first visual, you can see I can select the regions. The regions that I'm
Oh, hi, James, are you still there? Okay, I think that this because of the connection, I believe. Okay, let's wait for him about 2 or 3 minutes. Let him try to reconnect. And so, yeah. And also in the meanwhile, I think we have few students who haven't joined. Yeah, so Alan, are you there? Because I didn't see your names on this list. Are you planning to have a presentation this evening? Okay, just wait for James in this case. Yeah.
Right. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
All right.
Do you want
Good.
to have like a full screen so you can maximize your screen? I think it's on the maybe try on here. The maximum
Right.
this. I think that my pencil is bright. So okay, awesome, perfect.
All right. Good morning, everybody, or wherever you are. Yes, my name is Adeniyi Oluwatobiloba. I am going to be working on an analysis of corporate spend analysis in a particular company over the course of the year. Okay. So the project overview is the objective is to analyze the actual versus the planned cost of the IT department over a year, understand how well the company planned for the year, and identify areas with deviation from the plan. Know the actual versus plan spent on the cost elements. So the KPI, we did some trend analysis on the IT, the cost element by region. Then we did variance analysis too. So, yeah. There's some terminology used in the old processes that were shortened. So we had CapEx, which was capital expenditure. We had debt and amort, which was depreciation and amortization. Then we had LE, which was latest estimate. Then we also had B, which was business unit support. Yes, just to clear that out. So for the ETL process, we first extracted the data from the sample project using Dark Studios from the data gotten from the GitHub repository, from the link sent to the group. Then I cleaned the data using Power Query. I added a date table that extracted all the data in the fact table. The data contains six dimension tables and one fact table that I worked with. Then I created a data model that linked the fact tables to the dimension tables. Yes, so I created some DAX measures for the amounts, the actual, the latest estimate, which was represented as LE for most of the project. Then the planned amounts. We also did variance of the latest estimate and the plans and the percentage difference. So I think now I'll go to share my Power BI dashboard. Can you see it? Hello? Can you see the screen?
We still at all PowerPoints. We didn't see the dashboard.
Huh?
Yeah, we cannot see the dashboard. We only see the like a slice you have.
You can't see my Power BI page.
Yes, on the Power BI, but sorry, it's on the PowerPoint, but not the Power BI.
Okay, let me change
Yeah,
the
you maybe
shared.
want to reshare
Let me
your screen. Yeah.
Okay, can you see it now?
No, not, yes, we can. Yeah.
All right. So here is my report. This report page is for the IT spend, and we can see in the IT area that for the functional IT area, it was money spent. The actual money was lower than the planned. Same with the business unit support, but in the infrastructure there was a change in the infrastructure. Yes. So aside the infrastructure, I think all other area of the IT was properly planned. Then aside the infrastructure, obviously is something that should be worked on by the company. And from the old deduction, we can see that there is a positive correlation between the actual and the spent money in the IT region. And these are the areas in which more data was gotten from. And from using my slicer, you can walk through different areas in Africa. You can use Africa. Yes, it's loading. I don't know why it's taking so long. But yes, it works. I don't know. Let's give it a minute or so. I really don't know why my system is. Okay, I think it's taking shape now. All right, yes. So if you select any region you want, you see the plan here in the Australia and New Zealand region. They didn't spend much in other IT area, just the infrastructure and the governance. Then for Canada, we had the infrastructure, the functional, and the business support, which happened to all be below the actual spend. Yes, and that's just how the slicer works. Then for the planned variance, we can see that USA had the highest variance in plan. They had almost 12,000, which was the highest, and it was almost 2,000% more than the lowest, which was, I think, Italy. Italy had about 600,000 variance difference in their between the actual money spent and the planned the amounts planned to be spent for the year. Then we go to the corporate spend by cost element. We can see the same amount spent, the general amount, which was 258 million. That was the amount spent, and the planned amount, which was the overspent generally, but it was just slightly. For the cost element, you can see that the labor area, that was where the most money was spent. Most money was spent in the labor area, but even though the most money was spent in it was within the range of the money planned to be spent in the company. So, but unlike the depreciation and amortization region, which there's almost a 7 million difference between the planned amounts and the actual amount spent. Yeah. So that is my report. Then let me go back to my Power BI. So these are my findings. Yeah, I think that's all. Thank you.
Great. Danny. I think James, you and you both of you used the same case.
Yeah, that's I
yeah.
figured.
Unfortunately, is he back? No. I think he somehow got it wrong. We have actual, we have forecast, and we have budget, right? And sometimes we'll call budget plan. And you will see this a lot. So this is a very typical financial planning and analysis project. In short, we call financial planning and analysis FP&A, FP&A. So the three scenarios, actual, forecast, and plan, we're only interested in variance, the variance between actual versus plan or budget. I think Danny, you got it right, and James got it wrong. I will give you one example. For instance, now we're in August, right? So if we measure everything by quarter, we should have Q1 and Q2 2023 actual already, right? Because we're already in August, we finish the first quarter, we finish the second quarter. So then we should use actual for Q1 and Q2. But Q3 hasn't finished yet. And Q4, we didn't even start. So Q3 and Q4, we should use forecast or reforecast. I think in your project, you see LE1, LE2, LE3. So latest estimate 1, 2, and 3. So assuming the reforecast is more accurate than the forecast, because if the forecast was done last year and now based on the actual performance, of course we know better, right? How much we can achieve in Q3 and Q4. But the point is, we should use Q1 and Q2 actual, Q3 and Q4 forecast because the actual isn't available. But then we can add Q1, Q2 actual and Q3, Q4 forecast together. Then we make the whole year 2023, and then we compare this whole year, the sum with the plan, and then you have the variance. You could have a positive variance, you could have a negative variance, but everybody is interested in the variance, and we need to explain. So it could be a good variance, it could be a bad variance. Whatever the case, we need to explain, and we need to also present action to improve, in the remaining time of the year. So this is really, really important. We always compare actual versus plan, but in the absence of actual, we replace it with forecast. I think, Adeni, you got it right, and this is really, really important. I really like your use of shape. If you use different shapes, and then it looks very, very clean, and there's a place for everything, and there's a place for car, and there's a place for metrics, and there's a place for your bar chart. And
Thank you very much.
yeah, I also noticed that you use waterfall. I think in probably cost element analysis. That's great. So waterfall can show people,
Yeah.
the component. And how did you get the yearly total, right? It's January through December, and they add up. And you can do waterfall for by different dimension, but that will show people clearly, which months contribute more than the other months. And one important thing before we even do this project, we need to remember what is the purpose of it. I think for any business, we want to grow sales, so that's objective number one. And number two, we want to control costs and expenses. And we know costs and expenses are necessary, but we want to control them so they don't get, costs and expenses will increase in line with sales, but we don't want to see costs and expenses increase at a faster pace compared to sales. So that way, if we grow sales and control costs and expenses, we'll be able to maximize profit, right? And profit is the ultimate goal. We want to maximize profit. So in this case, depending on what we measure, so in this case, it's IT spend. So we only measure the costs and expenses. But this concept can extend to any item. So in fact, we don't use item, we could use account, right? So because, this project only touch costs, so we call them cost item. But from accounting point of view, they're all accounts, they're GL accounts. So that's one important dimension. And I noticed that you use slicer. So in this sheet, you use the list. The other the other sheet you use in drop down. So the drawback of drop down is if you select multiple items, it's not going to show which item you have selected. It will only show multiple selection, right? So if you need to multi-select, and then it's better to make it a list instead of a drop down. I really like your use of metrics. And one suggestion is you can use data bar within metrics because it's more visual and people can right away see.
Is it like?
Yeah. So you
Is
see.
it like the conditional formatting of the?
Correct. Yeah. So
okay,
if you click that one column and conditional format, and you can add data bar very, very easily. And you could also
I've worked on something like that. So sure.
Yeah, you could also sort by one column, but the problem is you can only sort by one column. But if you use data bar and it's more eye-catching, people will naturally look at the longest bar or the shortest bar, right? Yeah. So once again, any analytic project includes 3 steps. Now, what happened, why it happened, and then what can we do about it? And I think you have done a great job in explaining what happened and why. Why is always harder, right? So what happened is obvious. You can show people this is going up and that is going down. And then it's always harder to tell people why. What is causing this to go up? What is causing that to go down? And the third step, then what, is even harder, but senior management want to hear from you. Yeah, I see what happened, and I also understand why, but tell me, what should we do? Maybe to realize an opportunity, or maybe to fix the problem, before the problem becomes bigger. And either way, senior management team, they want to know, right? And that is also how you get their attention. You're telling them there is a problem, and if you do this, we're going to fix the problem. And there's a great opportunity, but if you do that, we're going to realize the opportunity. And I think once you present your findings like that, everybody will listen up, right? So, but overall, I think great design, and I like your color theme as well. So it's one color, from dark to light, and it's always better to look at just one color. But I noticed you use other color too. But for instance, the border, but that's really light. I think it's still the same color, isn't it? The same, almost the same. Yeah.
Yeah, it's similar to.
Yes. Okay. So well done. Thank you.
All right,
Back
thank
to
you
you.
very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Thank you, Adeni. It's a very good presentation. Like Raises slides is very organized, and the dashboard is very clean, very easy to read. Overall, it's very good presentation. Thank you. Okay, so let's move to the next student. Soya, are you there?
Hi, yeah, Sonia, I'm here.
Yeah, great. So yeah, so when we're ready, you can share the screen, and you have 10 minutes for the presentation. We will have another 5 to 10 minutes for the feedback.
Sure. All right, I'll go ahead and share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yes. So I had previously presented my project progress. So today I'll just give a quick recap, and then I'll go to the visualization. So as mentioned, it's the employee hiring and history project, and a potential merger is what the company is looking at. Sorry,
So yeah, do you mind use full screen?
Yeah.
To maximize the do you mind go from the first slide and the
Yeah, sorry.
maximize the slides like full screen?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Can you see it now?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Please go
okay.
ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'll just give a quick recap. So this was, as I said, the employee hiring and history project. And the problem statement was that there is a potential merger, and we're going to look at, they wanted to look at the turnover and diversity of the company. And I presented the KPIs that we need to look at, the data set, and what was the architecture of the project, where the data will be stored, how it would be cleaned, Python that was used for EDA and pre-cleaning, and the SQL database, which was used for storing the data, and then the Power BI model that was developed. So the visualization, which I will go ahead and share with you on Power BI, is here. Are you able to see my Power BI? I hope it's
Yes,
with.
yes.
Yes, okay, so I'll go ahead. So this is first we are looking at like the turnover, and looking at the turnover, we can see that over the years in 2012 it was 3%, but as the years progressed, the turnover also kept increasing, and by 2014 it went up to almost 49%, which was a big jump. And looking at the employee count as well, over the years, the employee count kept going up, and it was seen that the company was growing and increasing the number of employees. And when we look at the terminations, we will be looking primarily at 2014 because that's like the latest data. And looking at the terminations, it was noticed that there were more voluntary terminations compared to the involuntary. And within this group, there were people who were working part-time that left the company voluntarily. So this number was quite big. And we can see here also, when we look at the part-time employees, most of them were employed by the hour. So they were working on a hourly pay scale. So if we look in depth at employees who were on a salary pay scale, we can see that most of the employees, almost all employees who were on a salary package were full-time employees. And this full-time package, this package of salary was offered only to employees who were over the age of 30 and over. So under 30 people were not offered a salary package, and they were not like full-time employees. So that was a big pattern which we could see. And if we look at the part-time employees turnover rate as well. So here, sorry, I forgot to mention the salaried employees, their turnover rate was also quite low. Even in like 2013, it was 7%. So it was always under 10% for salaried employees. But if we come to the part-time employees, what we notice is that the turnover rate is quite high. It is 76% in 2014, and even in the past, it was found to be quite high, 74 and so on. So part-time employees always showed a high turnover rate, which is something that the company should look into. And also if we look at the turnovers from the VP's viewpoint, it was noticed that Jim Oyama and Rena Hens and Scott Salman, they were always in the top 5 VPs who had the lowest turnover. So even in 2013, these 3 people were always found on this list. So that was an important observation made. And then coming to the diversity visualization, what was noticed was that there were more male employees in the company compared to the female, but still the difference was not too much. But if you look at the terminations were more for female employees compared to the male. So this pattern was not observed for the terminations. And again, if we see at the ethnic groups here, the ethnic group A was always higher in representation in all the regions, whereas in the region followed by the ethnic group B, so A and B were the ones which were always found bigger in numbers. But the ethnic group G was always underrepresented in all the regions. And if you look at the West region, at least in this region, there was a little better representation of all the ethnic groups compared to the other regions. And if we look at the women employees, if we look at the women employees of the company, it was noticed that over 50 women were very few in number in the company. So they were quite underrepresented in the company. And employees who were under 30, if we look at them, they saw the most number of terminations, which is quite, it's not surprising because we saw that they were always paid by the hour, and they were also not provided with the package of the salary package. So it's also shown here as well. So if we look at the quarters, it was noticed that in the Q1, we would see that the terminations between the male and the female population was almost the same. But as we move to the Q4, it is noticed that more female are leaving the company. So this was another pattern which was noticed. So based on all these observations, my recommendations were that the company should look into the employee turnover and retention, address the high turnover among part-time employees, especially those under 30, review benefits, job security, and also look into explore possibilities of offering salary packages to selected employees under 30 so that we increase job security. Next was full-time employees. Recognize that salaried and full-time employees who are primarily under 30 have lower turnover rates, and maintain the efforts to retain and engage this demographic. And also learn from the high-performing VPs, interview the VPs and with low turnover rates to understand and implement their strategies. And in terms of diversity inclusivity, develop initiatives to improve ethnic diversity in the underrepresented groups. Like we can see that here in the group D, E, and G, there are almost 0 new hires. So this group should be looked into. And retain women over 50, implement strategies to retain and engage women over 50. Support employees under 30 by giving them, job satisfaction, reviewing what are their issues, and also investigate seasonal analysis, like why are the women leaving the company in the fourth quarter? Is there a particular reason? Are there any seasonal factors? And perform continuous data analysis, regularly monitor turnover, diversity, and inclusion metrics. So so those are my recommendations for the company. Thank you.
Perfect, Saya. I'm impressed by how much work you have done, and it's very, very clear how you separate them into different dashboards. And so if it's turnover, and people will go to the turnover dashboard, and versus diversity, and people will go to there. And usually you design or you put different visuals into different dashboard based on the user group. And also you try to understand how different group use the KPIs differently. So they may have their unique set of KPI, and then it's easier for you to manage just for that group using one particular dashboard you design for them. Once again, HR is a function that every company has. It looks like a niche, but it's not, because every single organization has the HR, private and public sector, in different industries, in different countries. So if you do a good project in HR, it's actually a good way for you to stand out. Your resume, or you have some sort of expertise, analytics, in the people area, in the human resource area. Once again, within HR, we have different area too, right? So we subdivide HR into hiring, learning and development, compensation design, and retention. So your dashboard, this project, focus more on retention, which is the risk of turnover, and how to prevent this from happening before, how to alert the managers or senior leadership team before people actually resign, right? Voluntary or involuntarily.
Yeah.
And I really, really like your presentation. Even your PowerPoint is very visual. And usually, and especially nowadays, people don't look at the actual numbers, and they prefer charts and graphs and maps. And even better, if charts and graphs and maps are interactive or dynamic, that's even better, because same dashboard includes multiple different scenarios. And if you design it right, and people will get used to it, and they will form a habit of using it in a certain way. I noticed that you designed the dashboard using the same structure. You always start from the left-hand side, with the high-level cards, and so this way people read from left to right. And first, they look at the headline, the big numbers. And if they have any question, and they probably will look at the analysis, and will click certain things just to go deeper, you know, and then probably they will be able to answer their own question. So if turnover and diversity and even more dashboards always follow the same flow, left to the right or top to bottom. And in this case, you could have left to the right block, and then you also need to read from top down, right? So that's the natural sequence or order of most viewer or user. So this is good. And one view, you include, you know, many different chart types. So let's just count. We have column chart, we have line, we have donut, and we have tree map, and we also have the decomposition tree. Decomposition tree is pretty deep, right? And so you can, and it involves a little bit of AI, and will allow you to find the biggest contributor, you know, by different dimension, or maybe even at different level of the same dimension. So that's really, really cool. And then once people form a habit of using it, they will be able to find the answer by themselves. And the design is very consistent across the pages. And at one point, I think you use Sankey chart. I don't recommend Sankey for that scenario, because usually Sankey is between two different dimensions and how the measure migrate, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So male and female are actually two values of the same dimension. So I don't recommend Sankey in this case. You can use something else.
Okay, sure.
Right. And I really, really like the insight you extract from the data. So for instance, you notice the turnover is a lot higher for hourly employee versus salarized employee. I think that implies job security is important, or job security is probably among the top three people look for when they decide, you know, to join an organization or leave an organization, right? So we ask ourselves what other things we value. So compensation is definitely important, but sometimes when the economy is not good, you know, people probably will place higher priority or emphasis on job security over salary, right? If you lose your job, it doesn't really matter how much you get paid. And also potential room for growth and learning and development opportunity, sometimes in certain age group or in certain segment of the employee, they also value. So overall, I think it's great. And I particularly want to mention your use of bookmark. That's very, very smart. And I encourage you to always use that. In future, if you do a rehearsal, right? And you already know your flow, and people may not even see it, but you know the flow, and you will go from the first to the second to the third, and you also have developed the script or the narrative to go with that flow, and then you will not your mind will not go blank, because you have something to follow, right? A structure. And there's one more thing you could do, you could choose to do. We have smart commentary. You can develop a smart commentary using AI. You can
like the question and answer.
Yeah, so it's called narrative, smart narrative.
Okay.
Yeah, you just need to leave a space for that. And then based on what you have on this dashboard, and Power BI will automatically generate the commentary for you. Yeah, but
Oh.
sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. If you want to develop your own smart commentary, you could actually create a fact table for that, you know, based on different value of the dimensions. But usually it's not that complicated. So maybe you have a comments for different region, and then in that table you will have region and then comment, right? So maybe you can add another dimension, which is the quarter, right? So for a given region in a given quarter, I'm going to write a comment just for that. And then you can manage them within a fact table. And based on people's selection, and that fact table will show, you know, different comment. So that's something we can try later on.
Yeah,
And-
sounds good. Yes.
Right. So remember, you copy paste the visual to PowerPoint only because, you know, PowerPoint allows you to add comment, right? But if you can add comment to Power BI, why do you need PowerPoint? So you can ditch PowerPoint. You will just use Power BI, and
Yes.
it's dynamic. You know, it's it's even better, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, go ahead. You have a question?
Yeah, no, I was saying thank you for that. I'll try and implement those and try to up level this this visualization.
Yeah. Yeah, just remember PowerPoint is not a must. Yeah,
Okay.
in fact, certain companies, they don't like PowerPoint, but it's just some extra work and it's static. You can't, you know, there's a lot of waste. No. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for that very useful feedback and the excellent ideas. I'll try and implement them. And Thank
Mhm. Yeah. But overall, great job. Well done. And thank you. Back to Adam.
thank you.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Thank you. So yeah, this is like I said, there's much improvement compared with the previous dashboard you've been created. So I will say, be confident you're able to learn fast, and you will able to do a very good job as long you have like passions, and as long you are spend time with your works, and you will grow like steadily and grow fast. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Overall, it's very good presentation. Thank you for sharing the everything with us today.
Thank you very much. Thank you. The credit goes to the excellent teachings by the instructors. So I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Okay, great, thanks. Okay, so let's move to next student, Sandra. Sandra, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. So
Okay. Whenever you're ready, you can share your screen, and you have 10 minutes for the presentation. We will be 5 to 10 minutes for the feedback.
okay, right. So I'll start. Let me just share my screen with you. Sorry. Yeah. All right. So I'll start with the with my presentation. So my project is to analyze the order, sales, and like the total number of order and sales for the pizza store. So I got the data set from well, it was available online, and it's a huge data set. So the business objectives for this scenario, can I like just go with the storytelling thing? Basically, I drafted a short story for that the manager of the pizza store has come to the data analyst to figure out these business objectives that are there. So the person wants to know what are the best and worst selling pizzas, what's the average order value, and what days and times are the busiest, and how many pizzas are they making during peak periods. So to cover these objectives, first we looked at the data set. The actual data set consisted of 4 tables that were in CSV format: orders, order detail, pizza, and pizza types. So I performed the ETL process. Basically, I also did data cleaning, but that was like done in Power BI. So I checked for the missing values, duplicate records, and I ensured that the data types were correct. Columns were used as headers, and there was a date column that was missing. So I created a very generic date column, and I linked it with the main date in the order table. And also there was there were 2 missing columns in the CSV file. That was price of 1 pizza. Like the price of a pizza was written, but it was not in the order table. So I calculated price of pizza and total price. After doing all the ETL processes, I adjusted my data model, and I came to realize that from the flow of the data that I checked here on this side, I realized that I think it seems like the snowflake model that was there. And yeah, so that's the date column that we created, and the orders and the order detail table. So that was the data model. Then we moved on to our KPIs by looking at the business objectives that we had. So the KPIs that we would have are for the total order that we were having, orders per day, per month, per quarter, and average order per day. As for the revenue, we had to look at total revenue, the total overall yearly revenue, and revenue per day, month, and quarter. And then we also had to cover, because we had to find out the top selling and like the best selling and the worst selling pizza flavors by order and by revenue. And there is one more business objective that is still left. It's how many pizzas are we making during peak periods. That is one thing that I have to add. So I won't be discussing that one for now, right? So after calculating the KPI, we basically created the dashboard. So I'll present my dashboard to you. So this is the dashboard for the order summary. We have total orders per quarter, per month, per day, and average order over year. And from this order summary, we can see that the Q4 has the lowest number of orders. And if we look at the number of orders per month, we can see that Feb, December, and October. So that's like Feb, September, October, and December. These are the 4 months that have the lowest number of orders. And we also have lowest number of orders on Sunday, which was kind of like it's a big question mark because it's weekend, and I think people usually order on weekend, but that's probably because people go out a lot on weekends, or maybe they cook on weekends because they're at home. So but the most number of orders were on Friday. That's probably because there is like weekend coming and people are just too tired to cook a meal, so they are likely to order pizza, or because it's Friday night, they might hang out with their friends and they're likely to get a pizza. And Thursday, and the third most order day is Saturday, and that was the order by summary by number of orders that we had. So we can also see that Q3 has the highest number of sales, and Q4 has the lowest number. The next thing we looked at was the revenue. So we had the total revenue over the year, or quarter, per month, and per day. We already know that we had least number of orders in Q4, so that accounts to like a lesser revenue in Q4 as compared to other quarters. And we had the highest number of revenue on Friday. That's probably because we had like more orders on Friday as compared to other days. Okay. Just one thing is that I actually created my dashboard like one big dashboard, but I decided that it's too cluttered, so I divided into two. The pizzas part is still left to declutter, but I'll explain it here. So the pizza with the most the best selling flavor in terms of revenue was Thai chicken, which was from the chicken category, and the classic deluxe, which was from the classic category. And the least ordered pizza, and that's something that generated very less revenue, was also the brie curry flavor. And even by and we can also see the top pizzas there if we just look at this. So we have the classic chicken here, so that's probably because it's most ordered. And although it's most ordered, but in terms of revenue, it's still at 4th number. So I think that's probably because the classic pizza is not that costly, that even though it's most ordered, but it's not, it's at, I mean, it is contributing to the revenue, but it's still at 4th number. And Thai chicken pizza is probably the best flavor because it is generating a lot of revenue. Although in terms of order quantity, it's at 5th flavor. So yeah, that's about the pizzas. And Thai chicken pizza is from the chicken category, which is on 3rd number, like which is like, how do I say it? Which is like not exactly the best selling category by total revenue, but it's still contributing to the number of like it's still contributing to the revenue that we are getting. And the classic deluxe pizza, it's ordered most, and it is contributing to the revenue, as well as it's the most ordered category. So from these findings so far, because one business objective is still left that I want to cover. So from these findings, I would recommend the company to invest more in classic flavor. And yeah, and because we have the most selling day is like Friday, so probably we should have the staff ready to accommodate all the number of orders that we get on Friday, Thursday, and Saturday, because these are the 3 days that we get a lot of orders on. So yeah, but for the quarter, so yeah, I think that's it. But for the quarter, for that, why it is giving very less number of orders or by revenue, I couldn't figure out the reason for this, even though I just looked at the data. So yeah, that's my presentation. So these are the findings of the order there that are written here as well. And so far I've added these 2 recommendations for the business.
Great, Cedra. This is the 4th time I have seen the pizza store project. Very well done. It's an interesting project, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, a few things I noticed.
Yes.
First, which KPI is better than the other KPI? It's really hard to say. You know, we can use sales, we can use number of orders, and then sometimes the ticket size, sales per order, becomes very, very revealing. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
So in this case, it's just one store. There will be other cases, let's say Pizza Hut, or maybe
Yes.
Boston Pizza. So it's a chain.
Yeah.
And depending on the location, you have different kinds of customer. If you open the store in downtown core, you probably will get a lot of traffic at lunchtime.
Yes.
Yeah, when people finish work, they will leave. Some eateries, they only just do one meal, which is lunch, right? And so that's very, very different if you open the store, close to a neighborhood, where people live. And then you probably will see the peak in a different day of the week or different time of the day. And
Yeah.
the sale per order may be different too. So if you have people ordering for the whole family, or maybe it's a party size pizza, and
Yes.
that one order, generate a lot more revenue or sales, right? So just imagine if you have the money and you want to invest in one store. And these are questions you want to ask, how much traffic, what kind of people, how much people will spend on average, and the hour of the day, and the day of the week. It really depends on if you open the store right beside the movie theater, right?
Right.
Then that will be a different tool. You might have young people and they love to hang out, and then they go there and get a pizza before they watch the movie, and then you will have different demographics. So and if you do the project for one kind of restaurant, and if you have another client, this time it's not pizza, maybe it's I don't know, it's Japanese ramen, right? But you will have some commonalities, and you will also have something unique to the ramen business.
Yeah.
Right. So several things. I noticed that you did a column chart. I think it's order by weekday, right? And you sort by the number of orders. And
Yes.
then-
It was initially by days, but I just wanted to confirm
Yeah.
that which days are selling the most. So I sorted it just
Right.
to get the
So
idea.
this is convenient, and right away people see which one on what day you have the most order. But it also depends if you filter this by different things, and that day of the week will change, and because this sorting will always want to rank the number of orders, right, from the highest to the lowest.
Yes.
If that change quite often, the users may not like it. They may prefer, I always want to look at things Monday through Sunday, but it really depends. So if you have a decision to make, maybe in this case you want to ask the business, which one. I can do either way, but what's your habit, of viewing the column chart like this? Would you prefer Monday through Sunday doesn't change, but only because you only have 7 columns, it's easy to spot the highest, right? Or
Okay.
you actually prefer, so for instance, you also have the top end, and that one definitely we want to see, I don't remember by the food item, and I always want to see the top, you always want to see the list sorted by the number of measures, right? And just food for thought. If this pizza store allows takeout, right? I don't know if it has the data, but let's assume it has. Even though it doesn't, you could do the same thing. If I have more data, if I have more time, I will also collect maybe the data for the takeout, the delivery of the order time, and also delivery time. And so I
Okay,
can calculate the time that it takes to deliver the pizza. You know, how long the customer has to wait
Okay.
before they get the pizza, you know, wrapped and hot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it 15 minutes or 10 minutes? So this is the service level, and that you can use to measure. So maybe if it's over half an hour and people start to get, you know, people don't like waiting that long just for, and maybe by the time they get the delivery, it's already cold, right? So these are the things you may want to consider. I noticed that you use smart narrative. That's fantastic. I really, really like it. And we should use more. And
Yeah, I also tried using the decomposition tree and key influences, but I think it didn't work
yeah.
in this case.
Yeah,
So
you can try key influencer. Sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't.
yeah.
But it's always good to try it. And I noticed that you use two dashboards, one for orders and the other one for revenue. So the one for orders, it's orders by this, by that, you know, by different dimension. And the one for revenue, it's revenue by the same dimension, right?
Yes.
So you can actually combine them into just one dashboard. But you can toggle between orders and revenue. Remember, you could always go to modeling and use the field parameter. Yeah, go to modeling. Yeah, and then if you click new parameter, and then click fields. Yeah, so you can create something. If you open measure, you will be able to select orders and revenue, right? Yeah, and then click create.
Create. Okay.
So instead of bringing orders to every visual, you bring that thing. You bring the new parameter you create, right?
Oh, okay. Yes, yes.
Yeah. So then you can
Right.
select between the two, and then it's half the work.
Yes, yes, you are right.
Yeah. But this is something you could do just to improve this. Otherwise, it's great job. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I actually I was working on another dashboard, but that was the employee one. But I realized that I couldn't I couldn't like find the recommendations. I didn't know how to recommend and what to recommend from that data.
Yeah.
So I switched the data set so like it sales. So I might be able to recommend something.
Yeah. Well, and that's why, you know, I noticed that the presenters, the previous presenters also stay to watch yours. I think we could learn from each other, right? And you would be encouraged by, oh, that HR analytic project is an interesting one. So
Yes, yes.
I would do it too. Maybe I would do it a little differently, right? So a lot of this requires you to understand the business, to understand the data, and also understand what is just one best way to communicate this insight. And that's the reason why I find this amazing, you know. And there is no school that produce the graduates who understand all three. And nobody is perfect, right? So you may
Yes.
be technical, but you need to learn a little bit more about the business.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I
it's
think
not
so.
hard. It's
Yes.
not hard. A lot of the business knowledge is common sense, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So once we learn enough, and once again, you work as a BI analyst, and your strength is combining all three. So maybe you don't know compared to the business people, maybe they know more than you do. And for the data, maybe you know, the database administrator knows more than you do. But you know all three, right? So your strength is you know a bit of everything, and you know, by interviewing people, by interacting with, you know, different teams, you will be able to develop something that nobody else can develop, and that's your strength. Your strength is your professional range. So you have a wide range, and then you become somebody who can close the gap, you know, between the business and data, and between data to insight, and between insight to, you know, recommendations, and between recommendations and measurement, right? And you will be able to close all the gaps, you know, and then everybody will think of you, you know, whenever there's a gap, because you're the closer, right?
Yeah, I guess I totally understand that.
Yeah. So that's how we position ourselves. We're not in this world. It's easy to find experts. Sometimes I think a generalist actually has the advantage over a specialist. No,
That's right.
that's my thought to share with you guys. Thank you, and back to Adam.
Thank you so much for the feedback.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Thank you, Sarah. I think that's the overall it's very good presentation, and yeah, it's the dashboard is very well. Sorry, my dog is keep barking at me. Yeah, the dashboard is very well present, and also I think Eric already covered all the important insight or suggestions, and yeah, I think yeah, thank you for the presentations, and also thank you for everyone to join today's, and it's very enjoyable presentation this evening, and I believe you guys will keep learning and go further in the data industry, and also we do have a report like all this industry. We found the data in the industry are keeping increasing for the job posting, even though other industry are actually reducing the job posting, but as long as in the tech side, there will always job for you. So and also there will be always junior position available, because normally the junior position will move to the senior, and you will get chances every day. And looking forward you guys to have your dream career, and also if you're interested to join our bootcamp, you can reach out to me or Eric, and we will happy to give you any suggestions. Again, thank you everyone for joining today's presentations. And yeah, I will stop recording.